Hey, what's going on, guys? Today is finally the day that we're gonna cut into our 65 GTO, and we're gonna start by doing what is the biggest piece of sheet metal for the entire car, the floor pan. So let's take a look at what we got. On the bottom side of this floor pan, it does say that it's for a 64 to 67 Chevelle, which should be the exact same as this. I've gone through, I've measured everything, measured here on our, our screws and different things, our seat brackets, everything is exactly identical. The only difference that I found so far is these back seat brackets here are slightly different than what you're gonna find on the inside of our car here. So you can see here, these are slightly different style brackets. So what we can do is that we're gonna, cut those out, we'll save those. And once we go to put it in the back seat, if it's an issue, or if we run into an issue, we can cut those off and basically put on the new ones. So, there's a million different ways to do this. I like to follow my process. Done, quite a few of these already. And basically what I'm gonna start out by doing is first and foremost, we're gonna brace this car. So, with this just being only the body, okay? And especially once you take all of this metal out here, you're gonna overall, weaken structure pretty significantly on the inside of the car. And what you don't want is, the body to expand, or you don't want it to kind of shrink on you. On the inside, basically, I want the body to stay exactly the way that it is right now, but we're gonna cut the floor pan out and basically lift up and weld in a new floor pan. So we're gonna run basically bars here from about right there all the way across on the front side here where your kick panels go across, and then I will do kind of cross bars there. So basically it's gonna hold everything here. It's gonna maintain, complete structural integrity while we're basically cutting out the entire center of this car here. So the way that I like to do it is, first, get the critical mass completely out of the way, okay? So after we get everything, the bracing welded in, you can see here with the seams and the transitions, like you can see that seam right there. We're gonna cut, about inch, maybe inch and a half inside of that, all the way around the entire pan. Now I like to do that so that way I can get inside of it and work on it, and also because, I've gotten a little too crazy with that grinding wheel and cut a little bit too far, and you don't want to do that, okay? So that's what we'll do. We'll do that, we'll get this all completely opened up, and then we'll slowly work our way around. We're gonna drill out, because a lot of these are spot welds here, along the transitions, the seams. Here is gonna be a little interesting too. Hopefully you guys are picking this up, but the floor pan slides underneath, and then there's a rocker cap kind of that goes over the top of this. And this floor pan goes all the way up into here. Okay, so we're gonna cut out, clear out into here. We're gonna slowly work our way around, separate all of this so that way, this piece here stays clean. It's in good shape overall around the entire car. We won't have to mess with it at all. But yeah, so things happen pretty quick here. And especially getting the floor pan out of the way first, it's one of those that you look at it and it's a giant piece, and it's a big win when you get it done. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna set up the camera, we're gonna get our structure welded in and get the floor cut out. So let's get to work. so we're just about to cut out the floor pan. I wanted to show you a couple things real quick. Pardon the towel, it's 100 degrees here. It's insane. So here we go. So the way that I brace this up in here allows for really good access, but it's still gonna, provide some of that structural rigidity to the car. It's not gonna go, springing in any sort of direction or anything like that once we cut the floor out. So, but it also gives good access, so that way, like I said earlier, we're gonna go 1.5 inches in all the way around this entire floor pan, so that way we save these seams in the transition, so that way we don't cut too far, okay? I'd rather cut twice than cut once and cut too far and then have to go back and fix it. I do want to show you guys this one-piece floor pan again. This now is obviously the bottom side of it. Now I'm here to tell you guys all floor pans, or really all sheet metal, aftermarket sheet metal, is not made equal. I will just say there's a few that are definitely better out there than others, but this one especially is a really nice piece of metal. So, on the bottom side of these pans, there are gonna be, straps, or there's gonna be brackets or seat supports or things like that. What's really nice about this pan, it's already got, all 3 of the braces here underneath. It's already got the body mount, the nuts and everything perfectly in place to where they're supposed to be. Real quick story on the Camaro, I didn't have a care in the world. I just zipped off that entire pan and realized I cut through every underfloor brace that there was, and I had to replace it all. Had I had it to do over again, I would have cut around those, taken my time and done it right. So it'll save you money, save you headache as well. So just make sure that you check that out. Actually go underneath the car, make sure that there's nothing that you want to save, because once it's cut, okay? So, all right, I'm gonna grab my grinding wheel, and we're gonna make very quick work of this floor pan and get it out of the way. Let's get to it. All right guys, so now with the floor pan out of the way, it's time to start cleaning up the entire perimeter in prep for putting in the new floor pan. Now, I did want to show you guys a couple things before I get started here. The process from here on out is really, it's just kind of delicate. You take your time, don't cut too deep, and just make sure that you're only targeting the welds and peeling off the metal from the old floor pan. So if we look at what we've got here, you can kind of see on the inside of here, we've got our brackets, we've got our flat piece here, and if we look at our new pan, you can see these same brackets right here, okay? Brackets, the flat piece. So basically we need all of this to come off of the car. And if you look really close here, you can see on the bottom all these little indents, okay? These are your factory spot welds, okay? So each and every one of these, you can either take a grinder, you can take a spot weld cutter. I'll probably do a little bit of both, and basically just pry and chisel and work your way all the way around here, okay, from the bottom. On the front side here, the firewall, you can kind of see this line right here, this solid line on the inside, right here. that's actually where the firewall transition stops. So again, we're gonna really work our way around this nice and slow, peel up all the way around here, so that way we can preserve the original firewall sheet metal. Now, you guys probably did see on the other side, and I'll show you real quick, but there was some damage on the firewall that we're gonna have to address once we get the pan in. But basically a lot of this metal right here, which again, really not that big of a deal, we'll make a nice little patch piece that goes in here. You'll never be able to tell it wasn't there. Oh wow, that's disgusting. A mouse, that's great. All right. So, but yeah, that's what the process is from here on out. So we're gonna go ahead and start drilling, start prying, cutting, and really make a nice clean surface for our new pan to go against. So let's get it done. So in the midst of all this grinding, I hopped up to go grab my spot weld cutter, and I stumbled upon this. T-Bone has been dying to use what he calls the little grinder for several hours now, and he actually passed out on the floor. Hey bud. TT. What'd you do? Did you fall asleep?
I'm tired.
You're tired?
Yeah.
right guys, and with that we are wrapped up with the removal of our floor pan. I want to show you guys a couple things, not only issues that we're going to have to address on my car, but also if you're doing this for the first time, and some things that you should definitely be aware of. So this car is definitely different than the Camaro. It's definitely different than the Charger in the fact that the floor pan actually serves as the inner rocker as well. At least on our replacement floor pan it's that way, and then also just the way that we had to remove this, we're kind of left here with just the opening here with our outer rocker. So there's no issue with that at all, other than just to make sure that you coat the inside of your rocker panel while you have it out. So you can see here originally from the factory, they did not do that, and you can see that's why. There's a lot of corrosion here, okay? All the way down the whole rocker. Now this one actually looks pretty damn good for being 60 years old. If this car were from Michigan, wouldn't look anything close to that, or Ohio where we got the Charger from. Yeah, it'd be an absolute nightmare. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna clean up the entire inside of the rocker panels. We're gonna encapsulate that rust or whatever's left there, 415, etc. And we'll make sure that it doesn't rust again on me or somebody else down the road. And yeah, you can see how we approach this here. Started by drilling the holes across the top here, and then as well as the bottom here of the rocker. That's the only two places where there's spot welds. And just take your time, work down this entire thing, and it will pop right out at the very end. Now, some issues we're gonna have to address. Let's start up here with the firewall. And this side of the firewall is not too bad. There's a couple little thin spots up here. You can see some pinholes, like right there. You can see another one right there. You can see some daylight through this firewall in places. So we're gonna definitely have to address that. Now, on this side is where it gets a little bit worse. So we're gonna have to put a big L patch in right here, okay? So you can see this side right here, this is completely gone. And you know, we'll see, I guess, how big this patch is gonna be. Hopefully it's not too terrible. But you can see that's definitely eating away pretty good. I would say the worst part we have overall is right here on this door jamb. Okay, so this steel right here is gonna be thicker than the rest of the rocker typically, and that's because this is a jack point on your car. A lot of times you'll have thicker steel or some additional bracing back here as well, but on here, this is very crusty, crunchy, not all there. The other side's a little bit better, but it's still pretty chewed up here. You can see the holes right here, and believe me, while you have the pan out, now is the time to do all this stuff. Don't work on your back, okay? While you have the pan out, just do it right now. Okay, working our way around here. This rocker is actually in really good shape, this outer. You know, we're gonna take a flap disc, we're gonna clean all this up, hammer dolly all these crooked spots where I kind of had to dig in and pry and whatnot. We'll straighten this all out and you'll never be able to tell there was ever the pan removed. Now, towards the back here, say hi, T-Bone.
Hi.
So towards the back here, getting these out here was a little bit tricky. Just because the floor pan slides up behind there, and it was just a little bit of a pain to get that out. But again, take your time and it will come right out. I did cut the trunk pan back to this thicker support brace here on the bottom, and the reason I did that is because the trunk is going to stay in. As I was going through this, there's not a ton of structure left in this car, even with the bracing that we did. So I want to keep the trunk in until the floor is fully welded in. Then we'll brace up, we'll do the trunk, we'll get that out and then mate the two together when we do that. But I wanted to cut this back so that way I can leave that just as it is and still get the floor pan in. Now on this side, you can see here, I had to cut this flange off pretty far back, and it's still really thin metal here, okay? So we're probably gonna have to end up cutting this back a little bit higher here. We're gonna rebuild this, make it look exactly like that side, so that way we have a really nice supporting piece for our floor pan. But the rest of this, I mean, the rest of the rocker turned out pretty good, and it's really not in that bad a shape overall. So I think that's gonna wrap up this episode. I'm waiting for the interior coatings for our rockers, so those should be here tomorrow, but I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put this video out for you guys, and yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. So until next time, stay tuned. If you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and take care, guys. We'll see you next time.